On today's show,
are the Cavaliers toast, and is Curry already locked up his first Finals MVP?
Lee is back and he asked fans outside Oracle what we should call Warriors Cavs 4.
And are you up or down on Warriors fans mocking J.R. Smith with MVP chants?
It's Monday, June 4th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, sweet world, and welcome to The Starters, presented by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. Whether you're joining us live right now on NBA TV, watching later on YouTube, maybe listening to the podcast, doesn't matter, we're happy to have you. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tess Mellis.
Happy off day.
To his right, back from the Bay, there he is. It's the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lele, great to have you back. No Trey Kirby, obviously, today. He is off to Cleveland, getting ready for Game 3 of the NBA Finals on Wednesday. But we got a fun show tonight. We will find out whether or not Lee successfully completed his Game 2 challenge. And we got to get into the Warriors fans chanting MVP at J.R. Smith. We'll get to that later. But let's start with the X's and O's of that Game 2 from last night. You all watched it, so let's break it down here. Warriors led wire to wire. They rolled to the 122-103 win in Game 2. They got the 2-0 series lead here in the finals. But hey, the Cavs did put up a decent fight. They've played better at home in the postseason, and it's not like LeBron hasn't rallied from an 0-2 hole before in the finals a couple years ago. So I'll try to say this question or ask this question with a straight face. True or false, the Cavs can still win this series?
You don't believe it?
Not at all. It's over.
Yeah,
There's
I
not
agree.
a chance.
I think winning
I'll
is
let you decide.
winning is too much to ask.
Okay.
A team that is so dependent on one guy who gave them 50 in Game 1 and they didn't go out and win that game, you're not going to get another 50-point performance. That was the 5th best performance in NBA Finals history.
Mm-hmm.
But because that guy can win a game on his own, I think there is some intrigue going back home to Cleveland because he can pull out Game 3. He legitimately can. Because he had an off night in this one. And yes, 29 points, 13 assists, and 9 rebounds is an off night while shooting 50%. It is, because you saw him in the paint missing shots like this in the second quarter. And yeah, they came back in the third, but he missed 3 key layups there and a fourth little shot right there. To me, I mean, we know LeBron can make those shots. He dropped down from 19 makes to 10 makes. He just didn't have a good night. And I know it's crazy to say that. He's averaging 40 points in this series, but he didn't have a good night. We can see him have that in Game 3. This is all on him. I mean, no one else is going to give him 30 points in this series. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, 2 years ago, I was basically in the same position. I came back from the first 2 games in Oakland, and the Warriors won Game 2 by 30.
Yeah.
And I said, it's over. Forget about it. Now, this, to me, looks like a similar situation where the Cavs are right now, except for the fact that they really had a chance to win Game 1. And things are different. Kevin Durant is on the Warriors, and there's no Kyrie Irving on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
But look, LeBron has played probably, and the Cavs have probably played 6 decent quarters so far.
True.
In these 2 games, and they've lost both games. That's fair. But, a lot of the things that they need to do is simple. Put the ball in the basket. They're getting close. You saw that with LeBron. They're getting open shots. What I noticed from being in the arena last night, LeBron's making passes, trying to get guys going. They're missing shots, and his shoulders are starting to slump. So he's starting to feel, I think, a little bit dejected. Now, no team that's been down 0-2 has looked like coming back, and they don't look like coming back right now. But I think if LeBron realises there's not huge adjustments that need to be made. They just have to sort of tighten up a few things, get a few shots to fall, and then they're back in with a chance.
Yeah, the problem here, though, is, it's not just Curry and KD and Clay, like the Gunners scoring. They get their points. We knew they were going to have the advantage there when you looked at the stars. Yeah, there's LeBron, but there's 3 All-Stars, and then even Draymond, of course, on the Warriors side. It's these role players are just waxing the Cavs role players. I mean, last night, Sean Livingston, perfect. JaVale McGee gets the start. Perfect. David West hits a 3-pointer for crying out loud and gave him good minutes. We thought we may not even see him for the rest of the series. It's all these other guys you keep going down the bench where the Cavs, Jordan Clarkson, I can't even believe he's getting minutes out there.
Yeah,
all these other guys struggling. I know, it's like, that's where I struggle. There is no Kyrie to give you 40 in one of these games. Love still gave him 20 and 10. He gives it back at times on the other end. It's like, I just don't see where the math adds up here. I honestly don't for them to not only win this series, because I really don't think that's happening, but to maybe even win 1 at this point. I guess it comes down to Game 3. I don't see. I would think they would roll over and die if there's a Game 4 and they're down 3-0.
Yeah, last year they found a way to win Game 4 after they were down 3-0, but last year isn't this year.
Yeah.
It all sort of falls down to Wednesday night for me.
Yeah.
And you mentioned those Warriors stepping up defensively. I think was was key to just showing a lot of bodies to LeBron James, but the only way they're going to win is if LeBron puts up a monster number. It sure feels that way. Kevin Love can only do so much in his role.
Yeah.
It's just, you're asking a ton of him. And it was odd to me not to see him rest in the first half at all. He played all 24 minutes when he's got such a load, and that Warriors defense stepped up. And I think some of those layups were a cause of having to play all those minutes.
Well, also, I think, though, some of them were to do with the fact JaVale McGee was out there contesting shots. It was interesting, a move by Steve Kerr to change his starting lineup after they won game 1. But JaVale gave them really good minutes on both ends of the floor.
Yeah.
And you saw LeBron going in there a couple of times. Just those long arms and the athleticism of JaVale makes guys think about what they're doing. So that was a very interesting little tweak to the Warriors.
And I will say, I was sort of impressed with the Cavs' fight, at least in game 2. Like in that third quarter, you know, they were down sort of big at the half, and they won the third quarter. I mean, they won it 34-31. They hit a lot of threes is what ended up happening. You know, Kevin Love found his three-point shot, had a couple other guys drain some. That's big, and that's why they won a couple of these games over these last years, is they've had games where they do just catch fire. And maybe that does happen in Cleveland. You know, that is the old cliche that your role players and some of your guys just shoot better in your own barn. I buy that, but I still don't even think that might be enough because they can't slow the Warriors. They are rolling right now, these guys. So there's no way they're going to win this. They're not winning 4 games.
One game at home, though, in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, they're 8-1, yeah.
That was the first game against the Indiana Pacers. So they have figured out certainly a way to play better at home. Now they just have got no safety net if they don't.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Curry. I mean, he was absolutely electric in Game 2. It's nuts. He nailed the finals record 9 three-pointers as part of a 33-point effort. He added 8 assists, 7 boards. Maybe not the most efficient outing for Curry, but it felt like, to me, every 3 he hit in that second half, it stopped a mini Cavs run. So there's a lot of talk obviously after Game 2 and after being up 2-0 now. Do the Cavs change anything? So true or false? Do the Cavs, should they start trapping Steph Curry? Do you try and get it out of his hands?
I think that's a little crazy talk.
Yeah.
I think you're just asking to get killed in other places. Kevin Durant was the spark in this game to me before Curry got going, and he was 10 of 14. You were just asking him to go off. And I don't really trust that secondary line of defense for the Cavs. If you allow Curry to pass and have a 4-on-3, they've seen this before. I think they'll tear it up. I mean, they'll pick it apart.
Steph's not a reluctant passer, so he'd be happy if they threw a double at him. He'd just go, okay, well, Clay or Kevin or whoever can take the shot. But if you are the Cavs, maybe there's a glimmer of light there if you want Draymond Green's player to come off and double Steph, because Draymond is shooting only 28% on threes in this series, in the playoffs, excuse me. So maybe if you're the Cavs, that's the gamble you want to take.
But is he going to even shoot? I think he would be smart.
That's the thing. If he's on the perimeter, then let him shoot it. But if he's driving and he's doing all that,
he's enough of a playmaker.
Exactly.
And that's why I wonder if Andre Iguodala, and we don't know yet, if he comes back for Game 3.
Then you can't do it at all.
Then you can't do it at all because now you have even another playmaker out there, and you try and trap and you get the ball out of Curry's hands. Well, now Iguodala is playing, with numbers as he's the playmaker coming in, same like Draymond.
And maybe they start JaVale and Draymond Green possibly, but I think the smart thing to do is to get more Jeff Green out there. And I know it might sound crazy, and maybe not. This might not be the answer, but I mean, you have to just play better one-on-one defense out there when you get switches out there on Steph Curry, and Jeff Green can do that.
We have to say the Cavs' defense on Steph wasn't bad.
Yeah,
yesterday.
He was incredible.
He was
hitting some insane shots, especially the threes.
And a couple of those in transition. There's almost nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
And that won the big rainbow over Kevin Love. I mean, there's no defense that can stop that anyway. So the Cavs are probably looking back at this tape and thinking like,
he struggled inside, finishing inside.
Keep defending him that way and just hope that he misses a couple of those shots. But once Steph gets that head of steam going, he's draining threes. He feels he can make any shot, and he pretty much can.
And one thing the Warriors have got better at for Steph Curry is to find him shots even if they get the ball out of his hands. He does a good job of passing, repositioning, and letting fly. We've seen some incredible plays throughout this series. He'll just find the corner, and they're going to look for him on each possession, no matter where he is. They're just smart. They just know. This is the best shooter. Give him the ball.
Yeah, this is a good example, though. The one before it as well. I mean, they're out there. They're contesting shots, but Steph's just feeling it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is like his new signature play. Anthony Slater, I think, has coined it the pass and dash, because he gives it up and he just runs to the corner. And you sort of like, as the defender, you're like, okay, we got the ball out of Curry's hands, and he's immediately sprinting to the corner. You're like, oh, by the time you figure out, he's wide open in the corner now, you're trying to close out, but he doesn't need much time to get that shot off. Well, one more thing with Curry here I want to know. After 2 games, we do it after every game, it feels like, in the finals. Is Curry locked up finals MVP already?
True. Yes.
True.
Yes.
No chance for a KD, maybe even
a chance, but no, Steph's going to win it. He's been fantastic, and I think now he's feeling great. The leg's obviously feeling better. He missed the first 6 games of the playoffs, but he's just fantastic. He's distributing the ball, shooting incredibly. His team's winning. Durant's probably going to finish second, but I think it's Steph's right now to win, and I think he's going to win it pretty easily.
Yeah, before the series, I thought whoever ends up with the higher point total is going to get it, because as much as I want to see Steph win it because he's the engine that makes this run and he hasn't got a Finals MVP, I don't think they were going to look for him and say, all right, Steph, just score 30. They weren't going to do that. They weren't going to make him the Finals MVP before the series started. But at this point, I kind of want him to win it because he is the guy that has made this thing go. And it's odd for, Iguodala to have one, Durant to have one, and he doesn't care. Curry doesn't care if he has one, but it'd be nice to have on the mantelpiece, I'm sure.
Yeah, that all said, I mean, last year, Curry and Durant had both similar numbers when the series shifted to Cleveland, and that's where Durant sort of pulled away. Curry had a brutal Game 4. Durant had that massive Game 5. I think that sort of sealed the deal. So I don't think it's a lock. No. I don't think it's a lock yet, because KD's had some pretty good numbers.
KD was 10 of 14 yesterday. He was feeling good. If he got more shots, then he would have had a bigger number.
That's a good point. All right, when we come back, Lee hits the streets to find out what we should call Warriors Cavs Part 4. Wow, look at those.
The Starters is brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey, official partner of the NBA.
Welcome back to The Starters, and we're happy, of course, to have back Lee Ellis from the Bay. Did you have a good time out there?
A great time, thanks, yeah.
Yeah, an early flight here this morning.
Yeah.
You didn't get a full shave in.
No, I didn't. I came straight from the airport. Straight here, yeah.
You did a great job out there, as you always do. Yeah, there's a nice shot of that 5 o'clock shadow. Do you have a favorite moment, either both on the court, off the court, since your time out there for the first 2 games?
Well, I mean, seeing Steph Curry go for 9 threes, that's, I think, probably the most I've ever seen him in person do. And it's just amazing how, when you're out on the court, because I like to spend a lot of time when I'm down on the court as well.
Yeah.
You go to those spots where Steph hits these 3-pointers and you look at it and you look how far away you are from the rim.
Right.
And the effort it would take just a normal human to shoot from there, it's like all your body strength to throw the ball like that. And Steph's just dancing around and throwing like that.
And he's practicing those shots. Those ones he's hitting in the game.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun to actually sort of try to go and recreate that, to be able to just be in that moment where he is, and he's like just knocking down shots. But off the court, I think one of the best troll jobs we've seen in a long time is Draymond Green arriving to last night's game.
Oh, you think this was a straight-up troll job?
Oh, you think this is a coincidence?
Well, I mean, he did rock it at the NBA at the NBA Awards last June. But you're right, he does it after
There he is. There. I mean, he's looking fantastic. But it's just great because the NBA, it's not just what happens on the court. We know there's so much that goes off the court, the theatre of the NBA as well. And Joel Embiid's great at trolling his opponents and teammates and the rest of the league. Draymond Green's just as good at it as well. And, LeBron, when LeBron arrived in those shorts and the suit, everyone's like, oh, this cost $46,000. And it was like just a meme, a great meme. And then Draymond just walks in the next day and he's got a suit on as well with shorts. So it's great.
Are you going to be rocking that if you go to the award show?
Definitely.
Because you're a man that wears shorts.
I know. I'd like these guys to give me a little bit of credit, actually, for wearing the shorts. I mean, I'm a big shorts wearer.
Yeah, you're the first person to wear shorts. Okay, so Draymond good at trolling. You're also, I think you've really stepped up your Instagram game, especially the Starters Instagram game. You were blasting a lot of grams out there.
Right.
Like, very artistic here, this one, Lee. How'd you get this shot? How did this one come about?
Yeah, well, you know how it goes. Like, you always take a lot of photos.
Oh, that's how. Oh, I see.
Yeah. I mean, you can see the gaffer tape there behind it there holding the ball in place because it kept rolling around. And fortunately, one of the local cameramen there was on hand to help me out. So it worked out great. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, there's so many great moments in the arena that you want to take a photo of and you want to document those. So, you got to try to do your best.
Okay. Well, did you have any success with your Game 2 challenge? We asked you to take a selfie with a celebrity. Did you find a celebrity and did you take a selfie?
Yes, I did find a celebrity. Rapper and music mogul, Chameleonaire, was courtside.
Oh, wow.
Wow, okay.
That's a throwback.
Now, I went up to Chameleonaire and I said, I introduced myself and I said I'm on a TV show called The Starters. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know The Starters. And then I said to him, well, part of the challenge for my Game 2 here is to take a photo with a celebrity. So would you mind if I took a selfie with you? He said, no, go ahead, man. So we took a selfie together. It's great.
Your beard is right and dirty.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that count? I mean, is that...
Right. I mean, I know who he is.
Yeah,
that counts,
okay.
sure. 5 final thing here. You are a man of the people. Every time you go out to these finals, you hit the streets to talk to the fans. What were you asking them this time around?
Well, it's Cavs Warriors Part 4.
Yep.
And so I asked the fans what we should call this installment of the series. We are here for Cavs Warriors Part 4, and nobody knows what to call this series. So I'm here with my good friend James. James, what are we going to call this? The 4th installment of this series.
I mean, we can only have hope that a new outcome happens, so perhaps a new hope.
What's the prediction for this series?
Warriors in 5.
Rogue Warriors.
Rogue Warriors.
Rogue Warriors.
May the 4th be with us.
I guess Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows for me. So it's really intense.
Total Recall. I like that.
And this is the 4th time in a row we've seen Cavs Warriors. So what do we call this series?
Boring for a lot of the country.
The day when we accomplish what? Oh man, we gotta do this another day.
Rumble in the jungle doesn't work. San Francisco doesn't pass for a jungle.
Concrete jungle?
It's not even. It's too much cheese and Chardonnay.
Well, it's gonna be called Getting Even. So it's going to be 2-2 after this one, for sure.
I think there's something there, though, the cheese and Chardonnay series.
Yeah, it's like
the Cavs are the wine and gold.
They're really the wine and gold, because they whine a lot, don't they?
What do we call this series?
The final of the finals.
The final nail in the coffin.
So you don't think we're going to see this again next year?
No, LeBron will be in Houston. We'll see him in the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, okay. Great stuff, Lily. Take a break. When we come back, are you up or down on the Warriors fans chanting MVP at JR? Don't go anywhere. Back with the starters, right into the up-down report. Let's see those thumbs on Twitter, hashtag the starters. First one, sort of hard to watch here. Check out this footage of LeBron and the Cavs bench after JR's Game 1 mistake. Craziest part is when LeBron asks Coach Lou if they had any timeouts remaining. Oh, his reaction speaks volumes.
Guess they had a timeout.
Yeah, they did. Guys, are you up or down on LeBron's reaction there? Specifically LeBron. What do you think?
Well, he's got to be upset that he didn't realize they had a timeout. I mean, it's on the coaching staff to make sure every player knows on the floor that they have a timeout. I mean, this is crazy. Mm-hmm. This is a huge, huge, huge situation, and they don't know if they have a timeout. I mean, he's got to be extremely upset. And I'm a little bit worried about Ty Lue's future here. This screams a little David Blatt to me. And even if LeBron moves on, it's either that or, there could be a separation. I'm sure he loves Ty Lue, but when that happens, that doesn't bode well.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a crazy play. So I don't know if everyone knew what the situation was as far as the timeouts. J.R. Smith, I think LeBron was expecting him to shoot the ball or at least pass it, and he didn't do that. So for LeBron to get into that situation, then realise they had a timeout, I think...
Well, LeBron almost calls a timeout.
Well, he kind of does. He sort of hedges a little bit there. He sort of half calls it. But I think just because of the craziness of the actual play, it's a little bit hard for anyone to sort of know, well, do we have a timeout or not? Because maybe LeBron thought J.R. didn't have one.
Okay, I'm going down on this for a couple of reasons. One, that's tough to watch. I mean, it is no surprise they just got destroyed in overtime because they look defeated right there.
Yeah, they were gone then. Yeah.
But I'm also down on it because LeBron, as the leader, he should, I know it's got to hurt and he's got to be upset and he's doing everything he can to get the win. There was still basketball to be played. And what's weird about the whole thing is he's almost looked like he's pouting a little bit. Because he's that upset with either JR or with Coach Lue or the staff. And again, I get the frustration, Lee, but there's 5 minutes to go still. The game's not over.
I know. I don't think pouting is fair, though, in that situation. I think he's just more so annoyed that they had a chance to get a shot off and they couldn't get it. I don't think that's pouting. I think that's more just like, I can't believe we blew that chance.
Yeah, I'm sure he's... It seems just to me like they're extremely defeated.
You get angry, you're upset, you're defeated for a little bit, and then you go, hey, let's go. Let's go. We got 5. We can still win this game.
We can still win out on the court.
I'm just saying that.
We only saw like a few seconds after that, though. He did regather himself and get ready.
That's a 3-minute clip where no one says a word to each other.
But it takes some time. He's got to process it. I mean, it's a game 1 of the finals. They had a chance to at least get a shot off, and they weren't able to do that. It's hard to just ignore that and move on straight away.
I get it. I mean, he's showing that he's human right there, as you would be frustrated, especially, again, what he was doing to get them to that point. Yeah. But it's sort of a little bit of a bad look because there's some ball to be played, and he is the leader, and he's got to try and rally the troops. That's all. And
it's crazy that entire team doesn't know the timeout situation. It's bonkers, and it's on the coaching staff.
Yeah,
and it's also
not gonna disagree
bonkers
with
that LeBron is using a paper towel, it looks like, to wipe his
Yeah,
sweat.
yeah.
It's not a towel. It's a little
Yeah,
paper
but some
towel.
of those paper towels are really absorbent these days.
Yeah,
So.
but a towel is more absorbent.
Use a dude wipe. All right, Warriors fans, game 2, back to game 2. They were ruthless last night. They gave J.R. Smith a standing ovation in the pregame warmups, and then they did this when he was at the free throw line. Are you up or down on the Warriors fans mocking J.R. Smith with the MVP chance? Lee is up right away.
I have to say that was one of my most enjoyable in-arena moments I've ever been to in my life. You know, like if a player goes back to his old team, like when Paul Pierce went back to Boston, they give a standing ovation. That's what it felt like when JR was called out last night for in the starting lineup. It was just incredible.
They erupted.
Unplanned. I don't think anyone was saying, "Oh, we're gonna cheer him."
It's true.
When instead the crowd just took it upon themselves, and then when he got to the free throw line, it was just an incredible moment.
Yeah, and a lot of times when there are chants like this with a person at the free throw line, you can't make it out. But this is loud and clear. And JR embraced it too.
Yeah.
So on both sides, thumbs up.
Yeah, J.R. Smith, he did say, quote, "I'd rather them do that than not acknowledge me at all."
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. And you know what? That's sort of the way you got to go about it. Yeah, there's a great sign there. J.R. Smith, you the real MVP. All right, let's hear from you guys with both of those topics. Jump on Twitter, hashtag the starters. Thoughts on the Cavs after that Game 1 gaffe and the fans chanting at J.R. Smith. One more break. When we come back, Lely's back with a very solid play.
Let's go back a little while ago. Tristan Thompson on the outside playing defense against the offensive man. But here is LeBron James kind of floating nowhere. He's a free safety. Where is his man? Well, his man is right here, Bell, and there's a defender inside of Bell. The problem is that defender is guarding this man right here, who is Durant. So as a result of that, watch what happens when Bell suddenly makes a little move and goes under the basket. He is wide open for the layup, and we'll hold it right there because watch the reaction on the inside from Tristan Thompson to LeBron James. LeBron, get your man. Get back and play somebody. LeBron says, okay, cool, I got it.
You can check out Film Room tonight on NBA TV at 9 p.m. Eastern. I highly recommend you check that out. Learn a thing or two there from the Czar and the guys. All right, Lely, great to have you back. Time for the very solid play.
Yeah, it was great to be in person to see this one. It's a beautiful one here from the Warriors. Steph doing a little dance there with K-Love, over to KD, back to Steph, to Dre, and then JaVale.
Whoa.
A beautiful finish. He was fantastic last night, and that's what I call a very solid play.
Did you throw the thumbs up in the stands?
A few people threw them at me, as I was walking around.
All right, Starters Twitter show. Join us tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. Get your questions in right now. Hashtag the Starters. We'll see you for that, and then we'll see you tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
All right, thanks for joining us. And just so you know, Boban Marjanovic is a movie star now. It's true.
We got to talk about that on the Twitter show. Brace the night, people.